Late in the evening, Lily sat alone on a wooden bench at the edge of the street, the dim glow of a flickering streetlight casting long shadows around her. She held her belly protectively, a mix of anger and despair tightening her chest. At just 17 years old, she was already facing the harshness of life in ways she never imagined. When she had discovered she was pregnant 3 months ago, she had gone to confront David, the boy she thought she loved, the one she trusted. But instead of the support she expected, David's reaction crushed her. "That's not my problem," he had said coldly before disappearing. She hadn't seen or heard from him since. Every attempt to reach him had been met with silence. Things at home became unbearable after her aunt, the woman who had taken her in when her parents passed away, found out. Her aunt's anger was like a storm. "You've brought shame to this house," she had shouted, pointing toward the door. "You think I'll let you stay here and ruin my reputation? Get out." That was the last conversation Lily had with her aunt before she was thrown out with nothing but the clothes on her back. Now, with nowhere to go, she wandered aimlessly until a kind stranger, an older woman selling roasted corn by the roadside, noticed her distress. "My dear," the woman said softly, "what are you doing out here so late in your condition?" Lily broke down in tears and told the woman everything. The woman listened patiently, her face full of concern. "There's a place I've heard of," she said after Lily finished her story. "It's an NGO that helps young girls like you. Maybe they can help you too." Clinging to that slim ray of hope, Lily followed the woman's directions and found her way to the NGO the next day. The building was small but welcoming, with bright yellow walls and a sign that read, "Hope Haven, a place for new beginnings." A smiling woman greeted her at the door. "You're safe here," the woman said gently, leading Lily inside. "Let's get you settled." The staff at Hope Haven treated Lily kindly, giving her a warm meal, clean clothes, and a bed to sleep in. For the first time in weeks, Lily felt a glimmer of hope. The NGO was home to several other young women, all in various stages of pregnancy. Some were as young as Lily, while others were in their 20s. They formed a bond quickly, sharing their fears and dreams in the safety of their little community. Hope Haven also had a small clinic in the same building, staffed with nurses and midwives who cared for the health of the pregnant girls. Lily was relieved that she wouldn't have to worry about hospital bills when the time came to give birth. The staff assured her they would take care of everything. Despite the kindness shown to her, Lily began noticing something strange. The workers at the NGO often brought up adoption in their conversations with her. "Lily, you're so young," one of the workers would say. "Do you really think you can raise a baby on your own? Adoption is the best option for your child to have a good life." But Lily was firm in her decision. "No," she would reply every time. "This baby is mine. I will take care of her." The workers didn't argue, but the topic never completely disappeared. It came up so often that Lily began to grow uneasy, though she had no choice but to stay. She had nowhere else to go and no one else to turn to. Months passed, and the day finally came for Lily to give birth. The staff rushed her to the clinic within Hope Haven, where nurses and midwives assisted her through hours of labor. She wept as she held her daughter for the first time, overwhelmed by love and determination. "I will protect you," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I'll never let anyone take you away from me." But her joy was short-lived. A few hours later, while Lily was resting, a nurse came into the room and took the baby, saying they needed to run some tests. Lily, exhausted and trusting, nodded off to sleep. When she woke up, her baby was gone. Panicking, she demanded answers, but the workers brushed off her concerns. After some time, one of them returned with a large envelope full of money. "This is for you," they said, handing it to her. "Your baby has been adopted by a loving family." They'll take care of her. The words hit Lily like a punch to the stomach. What? She screamed, throwing the envelope to the floor. I never agreed to this. Where is my baby? The workers looked at her with calm expressions, as if her anger was misplaced. You're too young to raise a child, Lily. This is what's best for both of you. Her heart shattered. Lily grabbed her belongings and ran out of the building, tears streaming down her face. She left the money behind, unwilling to accept it as payment for her child. The betrayal cut deep, and she felt utterly alone in the world once again. Meanwhile, across town, Tunde sat in a bar with his friends, the sound of laughter and clinking glasses surrounding them. He sipped his drink quietly as his friends debated the latest topic of interest. Have you heard about that man who did DNA tests on his kids? One of his friends asked. Not one of them was his. Another chimed in. It's sad, man. Women these days can't be trusted. Imagine raising kids for years only to find out they're not yours. Tunde listened but didn't join in the conversation. He trusted Maya completely, didn't he? But as the discussion continued, the words began to worm their way into his mind. His friends urged each other to get DNA tests, especially if their children didn't resemble them. Better safe than sorry, one of them said. Tunde forced a laugh and shook his head. Not everyone has those kinds of problems, he said, but the doubt had already taken root. Both of his children, Tom, who was now a year old, and Daniel, aged 4, bore no resemblance to him. He had always brushed it off, convincing himself that genetics could be unpredictable. But now, the seed of suspicion was growing. Unable to shake the thought, Tunde secretly collected samples from both children and took them to a lab for DNA testing. He told himself it was just to put his mind at ease, that the results would confirm what he already knew, that Maya was loyal and their children were his. But when the results came back, his world fell apart. The DNA tests revealed that he was not the biological father of either child. Tunde sat in his car for hours, staring at the results in disbelief. How could this be? Maya had always been faithful, always loving. He didn't want to believe it, but the paper in his hands told a different story. When he finally confronted Maya, she was horrified. Tunde, I swear to you, I have never cheated on you, she cried. Those tests must be wrong. But Tunde wouldn't listen. Don't lie to me, Maya. How can I trust you after this? His voice was filled with anger and pain. Despite her protests, he couldn't see past the betrayal he felt. Finally, in a moment of finality, he told her to leave. Take the kids and go, he said, his voice cold and distant. I can't do this anymore. Maya packed her things through tears, holding her children close as she left the house. Tunde watched them go, his heart breaking even as he convinced himself it was the right thing to do. Little did he know, the truth behind his children's origins was far more complicated than he could imagine.